in his book Worry, about how to overcome toxic worry and how to make worry work for you and not against you, Dr. Edward Hallowell said the most important tool you can use to overcome worry in your life is to get connected. To be connected with other people. Feel that sense of connection. To feel a sense of connection and meaning with the work you do. To feel a sense of connection with the world around you. And yet in another recent book, Bowling Alone, says that we really are losing that sense of connection. And that will contribute to higher levels of anxiety, more fear, more paralysis. I'm Joe Tye, CEO of Values Coach, and your coach for this course on the 12 Core Action Values. And the fourth and last cornerstone of courage is connection. Overcoming that bowling alone syndrome, getting out of our boxes and connecting with other people. In my book, Never Fear, Never Quit, Little Story of Courage and Perseverance, I said this: fear creates enemies, courage creates friends. And it's true. If you have a high level of fear, you're going to see a lot of danger in the world. You're going to create that sense that there are a lot of enemies. On the other hand, if you have courage, you don't see the danger. You don't see enemies where you might otherwise see friends. Anybody the young people who, bless their hearts, get involved in Teach for America, where they go into inner city schools to teach, get involved with the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps, where they go to other places that might scare somebody like you or me. They have courage. They go out and instead of creating enemies, they create friends. And that's really what courage is all about. Let me tell you about a speech I heard that really touched my heart. It was an amateur. I was speaking at a Toastmasters program. I was their keynoter. And of course, then they have all the amateur speakers who want to become better speakers come up and do their 2-minute, 5-minute talks. We had this one man. He was black, very black. He was missing his 2 front teeth. He was wearing a trench coat and one of these strange hats. Strange to me anyway. And he was very big. And he got up to the podium and he looked around. He glared around the room with this fierce look. And he said, "What do you see when you see me?" Everybody else in the room was white. Not one person said one word. But of course, we all saw something very frightening. And he went on to say, he took off his hat, took off his trench coat, and he said, "I bet you don't see a PhD physicist. I bet you don't see a kind father. I bet you," and he listed a couple of other things, and he was right on target. Not one of us saw those things. We only saw our fears. Sociologists talk about something called a reference group, and that is simply who you choose to spend most of your time with. If you're spending your time with a lot of people who are a lot like you, you're going to be a lot like them. Your politics, your religious beliefs, your income, you're going to be a lot like the people you spend time with. And if you're spending time with a very small group, you're going to be a fairly narrow person. And if you can get out of that group, connect with people like the man in the trench coat, you start to see the world as a much more friendly place. Albert Einstein, the great physicist, said there's really only one question that matters. Do you see the world as a friendly place or as a dangerous place? And he's right. That gets back to the self-concept cornerstone of authenticity that we talked about in the pyramid of self-belief. I spend a fair amount of time with support groups. And these are people who have problems that are truly frightening. Cancer, serious life-threatening illnesses, addictions, people who have lost a child. I mean, serious problems. And it is amazing to me to see the courage and the connection that comes out of those groups. And so I would say, grow your reference group and expand it and have support groups. Be part of many support groups where you're helping other people. In the book Never Fear, Never Quit, Rafe, the lead character, said this: whatever you most need in life, the best way for you to get it is to help someone else get it who needs it even more than you do. And that means connection. Listen to the oldie station. You may hear a song by an old group called Friend and Lover. And it said, "Reach out in the darkness and you may find a friend." That's what connection is all about. Now, I've been talking about courage. And I said fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Perseverance, core action value number 5 that we start on the next module, is making that decision for courage every day, day after day, even when it gets tough. So I'll see you then.